It's 9:30 and we're ready to begin. Thank you.
Good morning. I'll call the meeting of the special meeting of the Board of Commissioners Friday, March 24th, 2023 at 9:30 a.m. to order. Myra, can we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Simmons,
Present.
Commissioner Gladney,
Present.
Commissioner Beach,
Here.
Commissioner Johnson, Commissioner Galladay,
Here.
Commissioner Costello, Commissioner Moore,
Present.
Commissioner Brown,
Here.
Commissioner Cox,
Here.
Commissioner Windmiller.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Fine, thank you, and good morning, everybody. Myra, was there any public comment cards submitted pertaining to the agenda item for today's meeting?
Chair, there were no comments specifically for today's meeting. We've received several public comments. However, they do not relate to today's item. Due to time constraints of maintaining a quorum today and the need for the board's timely conduct of business, those comments will be addressed by staff and will be included in the materials for the upcoming regular board meeting scheduled for April 21st.
Fine, thank you for that. Moving on, next agenda is a resolution authorizing by State Development Agency to plan, design, and develop the North-South Side project and approving a memorandum of agreement with the City of St. Louis, resolution number 1262. Mr. Roach, you have some comments for us.
Very good. Good morning, Chair, and thanks to all of you for attending today. I think I called each of you to talk about this. This is a great step in moving forward for Metrolink expansion in the St. Louis area, but this specifically pertains to the city alignment phase along Jefferson Avenue. I added to your packet overnight the briefing that was included in my Washington, D.C. briefing, which I gave to not only to FTA, but several of our legislators in D.C. A lot of excitement about not only this expansion, but of course the expansion also in Illinois. It's a good time to be looking at a new future for the greater St. Louis area in Missouri and Illinois. This is a nice step in going out to the public and soliciting their opinion on, for instance, stations and so on, and having professional help in the role of a PMC model, a project management consultant, is that really allows us to bring in nationwide talent and help us really look at the details, especially in submitting ultimately a new starts application to the federal government, which would provide for 60% of funding of this. I think that that application has the potential to be very, very strong, and this is a key element in doing that. I also have with us today Chris Paler, Tim Nittler, and Tom Curran, just in case there were any specific questions about this. I do want to speak very briefly for Tom on the procurement side, is that we have been encouraged. There's been very strong solicitation of the PMC line. We are able to track that through our procurement process, so we are very grateful and optimistic about the level of interest so far. So with that, I am going to stop talking and be sure that there aren't any specific questions from any commissioners, and I'm glad to either field them or pass them on to staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roach. Is there any questions or comments for Mr. Roach at this time?
I have a couple of questions. I don't know whether they should be directed to Talby or to one of the staff, but it was about the section where you presented the budget, Chris. Particularly, I had some questions about sort of the differences in roles from the program side versus the project management side? Can you just sort of give me an overview? Because there's not enough information there for me to determine sort of what. people
Certainly, I'd be
are
happy to. On the top of the chart, where it says program director and the program manager and project manager, those are all staff, internal staff, by state staff. And we tried to break it down, showing the percentage of time they'd be dedicated to the project, and it kind of ramps up over time from 25%. So as we go through the process, obviously, the project director, program director will be heavily involved, but we'll have inputs from a number of engineers among the staff, obviously, as we go through the design process. We have a lot of people involved to help the designers understand what we need out of the system. And so that's the top part. And then the lower section is the contract, the program management consultant contract. So that's their project manager, assistant project manager, their environmental people, all of those lower staff, which comprises the bulk of the cost. That's the staff underneath the PMC contract. And again, we haven't negotiated that yet, but that's just an estimate for this agreement.
Okay, so just one quick follow-up. So that in terms of the internal staff, which would be the director, the program and project managers and the engineers, you currently have them on staff, or do you have to actually hire for those positions?
Currently, we'll just use existing staff as we go forward, and the project, once we get the program management consultant on board, one of the first tasks will be to develop schedule. And a big part of that will be determining when to officially apply to the FTA for the grants, the CIG grant, which is the grant we'll need. And that's a very intensive process. Once the schedule is developed and we determine when we need to bring designers on board and when we're going to apply to the FTA, we'll be able to better determine how much staff we're going to have to hire going forward. So right now, we are not trying to hire additional staff, but again, once we get the program management consultant on board, probably within the first month, we'll have them develop the schedule, and then we'll look at our existing staffing and determine what additional staff we need at that time. But I don't want to do it until they get on board, so we have a good understanding of the timing.
Great, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Tavi or the staff?
This might be an obvious question, but I just want to make sure that when designing this, we're designing it with this, secure platform plan, and that's not going to, hinder that project at all moving forward.
No, sir. So one of the things that we would need to do, and this is contemplated a center running street type configuration. Just personally, what I would envision is a system very similar to what we see in Salt Lake City, which has a wide boulevard type system with a center running low platform. The nice thing about that is that then at the station locations, there's essentially a small island, Commissioner, that then we can do some reasonable fences and gates, which provides good opportunity for our customers to be shielded from not only the elements, but also from traffic. And then that can then be used to actuate, a gating system that makes sense in the same vein as SPP. So it will require something a little different than what we've seen in other parts of the country. But I will say our colleagues are moving universally towards something much closer to what we are at SPP. As a matter of fact, I read an article this morning about how the DC system, WMATA, is modifying their current turnstile system much closer to what we are envisioning on SPP. So there's a big movement towards this, and we're seeing a lot of momentum behind the program. But we are absolutely dedicated to it, Commissioner.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions for Tavi or the staff? Hearing none, there's a motion that is needed to be made to approve this. Do I have one?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Myra, roll call, please.
Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
Commissioner Gladney,
Yes.
Commissioner Moore,
Yes.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Galladay,
Yes.
Commissioner Winmiller,
Aye.
Commissioner Beach,
Yes.
Commissioner Simmons.
Yes,
The motion passed.
very good. If there's no further business come before the commission, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you all. I appreciate you taking your time, and to the staff, thank yous, and everybody have a good weekend.
Thanks,
You
sir.
too.
Thank you,
Bye.
everybody.
Thank you.